This video is going to be for anyone who tracks and plays the lottery, picks your own numbers, don't like quick picks. Just a little way that I do it. Most people, they set up even odd as to what's come out. You have Excel or a similar program where you use to keep track of everything. This is the way that I've set mine up to help me determine what's coming up next. At least increase my odds, unless you have a mathematical algorithm that's going to spit your numbers out for you and show you exactly what to play, and I don't know anybody that does. I'm not saying there's not a way that it can be done mathematically, but this is just a simple way that can help you with increasing your odds of choosing what to play. Excuse me. Most people, they set it up this way: odd, even, even, odd. Mine are set up in ascending order with not drawn order, the smallest number to the largest. Number 1 smallest, number 5 largest. For me, that just works better. And if you use any type of math using drawn order, it's just a whole lot bigger challenge on coming up with what to do. But like I said, this is most setups, even odd, even, all the way through, which is it's fine. You can get just going by probability. The chances are that flipping a quarter is going to be about the same odds. The only thing is that things do change, and they have to change sometime or another, or there would be no random. So if you have, like here, 7 games in a row where the largest number was odd, an even's probably a coming. You can at least get an idea of looking at it on average of what does happen. There's 9 games. 10 games where the 5th digit or the largest digit was odd. You can kind of get an idea of how many times it does it. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to, because you had 10 games in a row that's odd, that the 11th game's going to be even. But you can take some math and add into your even and odd. Just take a few numbers. Let's make those a little bigger here. What this does, if you set this into the equation of counting however many times what is what and keeping a track of it, keeping a record of it, you can get you some statistics going that you can visibly see and help your odds a little better. This column here will show you how many numbers per draw were odd. This column here will show you how many numbers were even. All 5 odd or all 5 even. You know as well as I do, that's not really going to happen a whole lot, and it actually doesn't. That's just guessing without any statistical proof. You know, all 5 odd or all 5 even is just a bad bet. And statistical proof would be here. This shows that it's been out of 4,781 draws here in North Carolina, which is an entire run of Catch 5. 93 times only has there been all 5 even numbers. 113 times all 5 odd numbers. Just 631 times has it been 1 odd and 4 even, and 819 times has it been 4 odd and 1 even. But now you get down to 2 and 3 with 2 odd and 3 even. That's happened 1,542 times out of 4,781 games, and 3 odd and 2 even 1,583 times. So right there's over 3,000 of your draws that statistically prove that 2 odd 3 even or 3 odd 2 even is going to be your best bet to play. Now you want me, I would play 2 odd 3 even or 3 odd 2 even every game, because it will eventually, that's just the way it's going to be. Right there is 14 draws in a row. Oh, I'm sorry, minus this one. So 13 out of 14 draws right here that were 2 and 3 or 3 and 2. That's just adding a little math into it to where you can physically see exact stats. So 2 and 3 or 3 and 2 is going to be your best bet to play if you play every game. A little more math into it. Bring this up here. All this does is count your odd games, or your odd numbers. This would mean that there was 0 odd numbers, which would mean that all 5 numbers were even. There would have been 1 odd number, 2 odd numbers, 3, 4, and 5. So that gives you just a little layout. If you this would be best suited for skip traces, to let you know what's out the furthest and what's happened the most, recent. And you get somewhat of a pattern. You don't really see it, because this is just all the numbers that was odd. But if you're a pattern chaser, do a little separating here and set you up an even side. All these would be the numbers that was even. You see you have 4 odd, there's your 4 odd, 1 even, 1 even, 4 and 1. Now you start to see a little bit of a mirror, and you start to see a little more of a pattern showing. You're chasing patterns. Got a pattern algorithm. You can see the patterns. Skip traces, you see them. There's quite a few games right there. 34 games in a row before it was all even or all odd. Just a little tip on that. Excuse me. Works pretty decent on probability. Just looking for what to do next. You want to see if it's 2 and 3 or 3 and 2, and determine which ones should be coming next. There's 2 odd, 3 even, and that is 5 games in between. So if you're play more towards what's not happened the most, you know to go with 3 and 2, or yep. I'm sorry, I'm lying. 3 and 2 would be here. Yeah, that's right. 2 and 3. 2 odd and 3 even before I would play the 3 odd and 2 even. If you play what's been played the furthest game back. Now, another way of setting this up, the way I've got mine, is, let's go ahead and get them all opened up here, is this. If you number your games as they are and set those up as to even or odd, even and odd, and then space your results at to each game. Like game 4761, the first number was odd. If it would have been even, your E would go over here. And what this does is it gives you a little different pattern. And these are patterns that you can use to verify what to play next. Because these patterns you will notice over and over and over again. They do happen mathematically, and there are times when the numbers that are drawn absolutely cannot work out mathematically. And you can see here with this pattern here that comes down this way, that number 1 and number 2 is kind of linked together. And then number 3 is linked together. Here you've got 1 linking all the way down into column the 5th number. You see that straight line coming up through there? That's one of your patterns. Your draws, your numbers are picked within seconds of each other. That's it. One number blows up through the hopper, and then you get another one, then you get another one. I believe that each number is time-wise involved. Each draw is setting at the same time each night or each day, and they have to be linked according to time, date, geographic region. That's my thoughts on it. But you can see that just probability, you've got an even here. Chances are more if you are like a underdog picker, that even's going to come up before on your odd game next for the third pick instead of the odd. But most of the time these are these kind of work kind of like a positive negative, kind of like a magnet, where you've got see this little scatter section here for your third number and then your 2 number linked together. Odd and even, they do attract. Opposite negative, positive negative. Here for the 5th number, that the even's got to be coming up sometime or another, or it just wouldn't be random. So you can kind of, me looking at game 4783, I would go with even definitely for the largest number. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but you got a better chance of this even showing up as the 5th number being even, just because it has to. It has to change, or it just wouldn't be random. You've got this pattern here, and why is the O over here instead of here? Shouldn't it have been even to go along with this pattern, and then it would close back off this way? But you see a lot of these patterns. I mean, a lot of them. This is nearly 5,000 draws that I've tested through. That should have been here. Should have been an even number for the second number, or the second largest number, or the second smallest number for the 4,779th game. But mathematically, from what I've seen on this, it couldn't be an odd number. It had to be even, or it couldn't be an even number. It had to be odd. You got your patterns here. Goes up. What I've seen is mathematically these Patterns will start at a certain number. They'll stop at a certain number. I don't know why, but that's just the way it does. And then determining what's coming next, you can kind of, if you're, like I say, an underdog player where you look for what's not happened in a while, this will give you a better view of what has happened and the spaces in between, as opposed to this. Because here you can see you've had some more even games over here, but they've been on, or even numbers over here for the 5th pick, but they've all been on even games. The odd games, you've had quite a few draws there. There is 9 draws that you've not had an even number for the largest. But looking at this, you would say it could be either or. Your odds would be better to play an even here just because things do have to change. But anyway, that's kind of how I set mine up, just to keep track of even and odd, and maybe this will help somebody out. Alrighty, thank you.